This is peace, power, and purpose 360.
Ho, welcome. It's Peace, Power, and Purpose 360 degrees. Hey, I'm David Alexander III, and we're here for another week of Action Jackson impact information that's guaranteed to change your life. And we're in the house with Sean, your boy Media. And you know what? Without him helping us, we wouldn't be able to be here today. So you know what? We want to make sure you understand what we're all about. This is about full circle transformation, changing your mind, changing your body, changing your spirit, even your lifestyle. We're not just talking about it, but it's a complete life alignment. And that's why we want you to subscribe to us on YouTube. We want you to like us and share us with your friends on Facebook, and then follow us on Instagram, because this is guaranteed to give you or help you get to the future that you desire to have for yourself, for your family, or not to mention for your community. But last week we talked about locking on and locking out. And you know what? You are successful and you can reach your goals, but you definitely got to lock out some things that can attack your mind. Lock out some things that attack the brain. You know, we also talked about the month of June, starting the summer, a hot summer. And man, let me tell you something, we done had some 90 plus days already. And you know, it's important for you to stay hydrated. You know why? Because the brain counts on it. And you know, I promise you I'll come back each time with some tips. So drinking enough water is important for your overall health, but staying hydrated helps treat and prevent headaches. Wow. And it also helps treat kidney stones, and it can aid in weight loss. But the thing about it, we want to talk about the brain tonight because it's a brain game when you're talking about locking on and locking out, keeping bad information out. You know, hydration is so important to us, and the impact of hydration on your brain is some interesting things I found out and I read on. You know, the brain itself is highly sensitive to your hydration levels. And even when you lose as little as 2% of your body water, it can cause measurable cognitive deficits, you know, and you could suffer from things like difficulty focusing and sustaining attention. Get a glass of water. Your slower information process or slower reaction time. Get a glass of water. Short-term memory impairment. Get a glass of water. Or it increases your feelings of stress, anxiety, and fatigue. Get a glass of water. Do you know that when the little boys in school would get hyper and upset and it seems like it's hard to calm them down, you know what the teacher will make them do? Go get a glass of water. They send you to the water fountain, get a glass of water. It helps with your cortisone levels. So you know what? When you're able to keep that brain energy balance, man, it keeps your thinking at a high level. So it's important for us to stay hydrated, especially elderly people, because your brain is very important to you. And matter of fact, the human brain filters all of the information that's bombarded into our minds, our senses. So our sense of smell, you know, in very extremely difficult situations, your senses can play against you, and a lot of it can be because you're not properly hydrated. Even your vision, when your eyes are dried out, it's going to cause you to have some visual problems. You can see things, or what they call it, hallucinations, because you're not properly hydrated at the right level. Your breathing can be strained because your lungs are having to work extra hard. You're not hydrated. But the thing about it is, with all this stuff bombarding your brain through your senses, it lets through the things that are important to us at the moment. So think about a person drowning. What do you think the senses is thinking? Whatever it takes to breathe, you're going to struggle hard to breathe. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to drink in more water, because you're trying to survive. Whatever it takes, your thinking is going to be clearly channeled towards survival. What's ever important to you, when somebody put their hand over your mouth, the most important thing to you is breathing. So it's imperative to you at the moment that you get their hand from over your mouth and your nose. So it's clear that when we set goals, concise goals, that the right information gets through to us, especially when those goals are good goals. Those goals are about positive things. Those goals are about making your life better, making your future better. So then the right information gets in, because it's magnetic. You only want to get into stuff that's going to benefit you, to help you get towards your goal, your future your future for your community, your family. So one of the things is we have to be accountable to ourselves in achieving those goals. That means you got to have a goal. You have to have a vision. And there's a proverb, 29:18 says, without a vision, people perish. So you got to have the goal first. You have to have a vision, something you want to become, something you want to do. And I'm quite sure by now, if you've been with us on this podcast, there's been some stuff that's been pounding on your chest, keeping you up at night. You can't sleep because you got to get up and do something about it. The goal comes, the vision comes, and then you see it. And when you really start applying information, applying your energy toward it, you're going to start walking in a purpose that you've never seen before, because everything has to align up to what you're focused on. There's another proverb says that whatever a man thinketh in his heart, that's what he becomes. So you see it first as a goal, and then you see it as something that you can achieve. One of my favorite guys I like to follow and listen to is David Meltzer. And he said, our number one investment, guess what it is? It's the things you think about. He said, every thought is an investment. And the question is whether you're investing in your future or you're investing in the financing of your own limitations. In other words, you're paying for your own bondage if you're not investing in your own future. And how do you invest? It's by every thought. We talk about sowing seeds. Every thought either works for you or works against you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Everything in you has to align up so that you're moving harmoniously, not fighting against yourself. Remember, I said last week, you can't have two opposing beliefs in your brain at the same time and say you believe it. And if you're double-minded, you're very unstable. That means only when it's convenient for your flesh are you going to believe one way or the other. So you have to have a made-up in mind to invest in yourself. I was talking to a brilliantly bright young lady who was working for the summer at a food truck site. And I told her, I said, the last conversation I had with you, you showed me that you are very brilliant, ambitious, and a smart young lady. I said, you know what I want you to do? I want you to start investing in yourself. Not just your money. Learn how to invest your money, but invest your time, your energy in you first. I say, and then you become the prototype. Anybody that wants to be with you, wants to be your soulmate, or wants to be in your inner space, they got to match your energy. In other words, if they're not investing in themselves, guess what? It's going to be hard for you to invest in them, and even in terms of relationship. It's going to be hard for you to invest in them even in a partnership. It's going to be hard for you to invest in them even as a friendship, because you can't walk together unless you're in the same alignment. You can't walk together unless the energy is reciprocating itself. So I told her, hey, invest in yourself first. And then before you invest in anybody else, you got to say, what's in it for me? If it's not going to reciprocate what you're already about, the direction that you're going is going to drain you. It's going to set you back. And that's my advice to you now. If you're looking to move toward that goal that's burning, that desire you have that it won't let you sleep at night, you got to invest in yourself. And that's where seeking to have peace, having some resolve, it allows you to heal from things that have happened in the past. It also allows you to become more purpose-driven. It allows you to draw energy from that burning desire to get something done. It provokes you to take actions. And if you're not clear on the right things, you're gonna seek out people who can help you get where you're going. Let me tell you something. This thing has happened so many times in my life that it's a reoccurring story in many dimensions, spiritually speaking, physically speaking, career-wise, personal relationships, setting boundaries, finding peace. Man, it was in a book. And becoming who you know deep down inside you're destined to be. You're gonna know the truth about yourself as you're made to believe it. And that's why I say you have to unbelieve some of the lies that we were told and taught, so many, the limitations, what you can't be, what you can't have. But it starts with investing in your own self. And again, looking at how am I processing things in my brain? Am I allowing information in because I understand better? Get to know yourself. Know what you really want in life. Be more acquainted with what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Maybe you believe things about yourself that you place those bondages on yourself. You believe it to be your truths, and it was really somebody else's truth. Seek to know the truth about you for yourself. And if there are some things that you're not as strong in, hey man, work on building those up. Somebody might have called you stupid for so long until you begin to believe deep down inside you're stupid. But you know what? You believe you are who holds the truth in your life. And that's why you got to challenge your thinking sometime. Who am I believing? Who am I listening to? Who am I allowing to say what is the truth about me, about my future, about my family? I was just, man, I'm just overflowing with excitement just watching the NBA draft and listening to the stories. Listen to how people have poured into the lives of others. Sometimes people have given up themselves to pour in the life of others, and now they're seeing the benefit. They're seeing it come to fruition. And they faced a lot of challenges. They faced a lot of challenges by who they were and what they were capable of doing. And I'm quite sure a lot of times people told them what they can't do and what they can't have. They didn't believe the lie. They kept working day in and day out. And even in the midst of their failures, they went back and learned from it. They grew from it, and they're still growing. Let me tell you something. You are at the best moment in your life where you can do some things that'll blow your own mind. I'm telling you, because I know. Some of you think you've already tapped that in your career. You really don't know what the limits are in your career. And you might find out that, man, you can be just as strong and productive when you're 60, 70, 80 years old. Look, there's people out there doing it. So take the limits off. Stop saying what you can't do and start exploring what you can do. And what you can do is lock on some goals and lock out all of that negativity. Because now you have a burning desire to make some things happen for you, make some things happen for your family, make some things happen for your community. And I'm telling you right now, there's open room. You don't have to compete with nobody because there's plenty. There's a huge harvest out there of people that are perishing because they have no vision. There are no leadership out there for them that they can relate to, that they can latch on to and say, hey, look, you know what? I feel you and I believe I can do this. Man, there are people doing it day in and day out. There are families coming together and they're reaping a harvest because they sowed seeds in their own spiritual minds. And it changed the way they saw themselves. It changed the way they live their life. They begin to achieve goals together. They begin to sharpen each other, feed off of each other. You'll know, you've heard the term iron sharpen iron. Man, it's not just in relationships between two individuals. It's in families. It's in communities. It's in nations. We got to realign the direction we're going because we have a chance to reset again and make it happen like we've done as a nation so many times, as we've done as individual cultures so many times, as we've done as so many families that thought it was hopeless, thought it was the end, as we've done as individuals. Man, it's not too late. Young lady, it's not too late. But I'm going to tell you, don't compromise who you are and where you're going just to settle for a consolation. Because you know what? This world will not offer you a consolation. Either you're going to fail or you're going to succeed. But how about succeeding on your own terms? How about feeling accomplished because you applied some principles and you had the audacity to believe that you could achieve it? But you know what? That's what this podcast is all about. So I want you to latch on, lock on, and lock out all the negativity and trust your brain that it still works. Because you know what? If your brain can heighten the sensitivity to negative stimuli, it will drive you crazy if you try to sit back when you focus on positive. It's an energy within itself. And one thing that I know for a fact is whatever a person puts in their heart and mind to do, they start channeling their energy toward, it's done. You know, there's a guy in history called Nimrod, and he had the audacity to build a tower to heaven. And you know what? He was doing it because he had synergy, people that believed in his leadership, and they followed him. And you know what? Until the language was confounded, they were going to build that tower to heaven. And you know what Almighty God said about it? He said, man, human beings can do whatever they set their mind to do. And what you got to do is lock on that positive goal for you, for your future, for your family, for your community, and lock out of your brain because you're spiritually hydrated with the right stuff. You're physically hydrated because you're drinking a quality water. And now your career is hydrated because you're locking on the goals and you watering it with every thought in your mind that's going to help you create action steps to achieve that goal. And you know what? We can do it together because I'm still on a journey and I'm just repeating the same old thing at each level because at each level, there's different types of challenges. But we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to dust off those books and rewrite the pages to a brand new chapter. And you can do it in your own life. You can do it in your own community, but you got to stay with me on this journey. So it's all about full circle, complete life transformation on Peace, Power, and Purpose 360. Stay with me now. Stay with me. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. So, hey, remember, follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like us and share us with your friends on Facebook. Because you know what? I know you know somebody that's tired of the same old, and they need to be a part of this energy. So do that for us and be with us next time because we're going to take it to a whole nother level because you got to look at how the brain works. And when you know how the brain works, man, you can use your brain energy to move you forward. Peace out.
This is Peace, Power, and Purpose 360.